This is the Schmo with the pro, with the charismatic Dan Hardy here for UFC 245 Media Day. How we doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent. Good to be here as always.
Pleasure to see you, man. Now, you got one of the best accents on the broadcast. You had a great MMA career, but you're going to be making the return, my friend, to welterweight.
Maybe. Welterweight, maybe lightweight. I'm a little smaller than I used to be, you know? Yes. And there's some good fights down there as well.
Current weight?
183 at the moment.
When would that comeback be made? 2020?
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking maybe April, May would be a good time.
What about that London card? Too soon?
I think it might be too soon. And I'm hearing that card's complete. I'm hearing that that's stacked already, so they might not need me on there.
You're trying to do the April 18th Tony Ferguson Habib card. Maybe. Brooklyn.
Would make sense, right? Be nice to fight there.
We're not going to even ask you about potential opponents because we got to get you training USADA protocol prior to. We got a big fight card for this weekend, though, man. Main event, Colby, Covington, Usman, both 15-1. Very similar careers and how it's all shaped out. How do you see it going down Saturday night?
I think Colby's going to try and take it into the deeper waters. I think he's going to try and take away those physical attributes of Usman, which is the power and the strength. You know, I think Colby's a better wrestler. I think over the distance he can make that count, but in the striking ranges, if he gets caught up, Usman's going to hurt him.
Does GDR win in the rematch with the GOAT?
I don't know. I think it's a tough fight for her, you know. Unless Amanda Nunes decides she wants to strike, which she did with Cyborg. She didn't need to do that with Cyborg. She could have grappled. So she might decide she wants to try and beat Durandamy on the feet. And if she does, then there's a window of opportunity there for her.
Does Peter Yan beat the Hall of Famer Urijah Faber?
I think that's a horrible fight for Urijah Faber. I think Peter Yan's a monster.
Yes. And what do you make of Henry Cejudo at the top of the heap? No decision yet if he's going to defend at bantamweight or at flyweight.
I just want to see him back in there. You know, there's a couple of fights this weekend. I mean, obviously, if Aldo beats Moraes, that's an interesting one. I won't mind seeing him fight Dominic Cruz as well, or even the winner of the Peter Yan Urijah Faber fight. There's lots of opponents for him this weekend.
Alexander Volkanovski, the former rugby player, against Max Holloway. Who do you got?
I think Holloway over the distance, but those first two rounds are going to be dangerous. I can see Holloway having to come through some difficult rounds, you know. A couple of knockdowns maybe. Volkanovski's a powerful individual. It's that big right hand up against the fence we're going to be watching for. We're
seeing Matt Brown, after a couple-year layoff, coming in there against Saunders, who desperately needs a win. Ring rust going to be a real thing? The Octagon rust? For Matt Brown?
Well, potentially, but the thing with Matt Brown is he always does better after he's taken a few shots, you know, so maybe a little ring rust will actually play into his favour. He takes a couple of shots in the early rounds and then he gets that, you know, that dog in the fight that comes out of him and causes some problems. But Ben Saunders has been at the PI for this training camp and he looks to be in real good spirits. So I like Ben Saunders. If he can get the fight to the floor, he's a real problem for Matt.
Since you're so great with the broadcast, who's been the best current active fighter that you've joined with on set? We're talking about the breakdowns, not getting shy in front of the bright lights. Mm-hmm. Who's impressed you?
You know, the one that always stands out to me is Paul Felder. Paul Felder's excellent. The other one as well we've got to watch out for is Anthony Smith. You know, he's doing more stuff with the desk. He's on Sirius XM now, and he's very, very good. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Does Paul Felder win in Auckland, man, against Dan Hangman Hooker?
That's a horrible fight. Respect to Paul for taking that fight because most people wouldn't want to. If Paul wins that fight, we need to start talking about title shots for him in the near future. But Dan Hooker's dangerous.
When you inevitably make your return into the Octagon, man, before you hang it up for a final time, is there a name that you got to check off the bucket list that you got to fight?
You know, there's a few guys. I want a veteran. I want someone like an Anthony Pettis or a Cowboy or someone like that. You know, someone that I respect, someone that I've watched for a long time, I look up to, someone that when the fans hear their name, they go, that's the fight. And I did hear Duke Rufus mention my name the other day in an interview for Pettis, so that one might make sense.
Shout out Duke Rufus Sport. Conor McGregor making his return January 18th at welterweight against Cowboy. Do you think he's got the right to jump back down to lightweight after the fight, or he's got to fight at welterweight? Just a one-fight thing, a two-fight thing? What's your take on that?
I don't think any fight at welterweight makes a difference at lightweight. I think if he's going to step into a lightweight fight, he needs to beat someone at lightweight. And it needs to be one of the contenders. It needs to be a Gaethje or Poirier or, you know, even, you know, Tony, if he doesn't manage to get through Khabib, would be a good one. But we need to see him on the scales at 155 and win a fight there.
You said his name, Justin Gaethje. Seems like he's getting screwed, man. That guy deserves a title shot. He's waiting for that Tony Ferguson Habib. But then if Conor gets the W, you heard Dana White recently during an interview say, oh, maybe it's Conor McGregor. What's your take?
Well, I just think this every time Justin Gaethje gets set back, he gets more annoyed, and the more annoyed Justin Gaethje gets, the more dangerous he is. Eventually, he'll get his shot because everyone's going to want to see it. And I think most people, if the Conor McGregor Khabib fight was made after, say if Khabib fights Tony and wins, and we get the Conor fight after that, there'll be so many people that will be crying out for Justin Gaethje that it will have to get the next fight anyway.
In your expert opinion, does Habib Nurmagomedov retire from the UFC undefeated?
It's a possibility. It depends on how many more fights he has. If he has 5 more fights, then no, I think someone will beat him. If he has 3 more fights, I think he could stay undefeated.
And what's your take on Colby Covington's, act? I guess he revealed that it's an act and all that kind of stuff. Are you full gimmick or anti-gimmick?
I don't mind it too much. It's not my way of marketing. Obviously, people would disagree with me, but like the mohawk and stuff, that was just me being me. Like the idea of playing a character, it's kind of strange for me, but as soon as I stop taking all that seriously, I can enjoy it for what it is, and I can appreciate how good he is as a fighter. He is an excellent fighter, and it's kind of a shame in my eyes that he feels like he has to do that to get the attention that he needs.
The mohawk was a great look for you, but when you make the return, can we get you sporting a Schmohawk?
A Schmohawk. What would that look like? Like this?
Kind of like this. You could do a little bit less hair, and maybe more on the top. You can flip it up to get it more Dan Hardy-esque.
The flipping up.
Yes.
Yeah. Flip up. That's the one.
Final message for the Dan Hardy fans out there worldwide.
Check out the Full Reptile YouTube channel. The Raptors are filming all week, and we've got loads of stuff up on the channel, so check that out.
Yeah, the Raptors always get in there in the tight spaces, getting all the best shots. They're over there scoring at us right now. We see you. He's the pro. I'm the Schmo. UFC 245 Media Day. We're out.